Hello everyone and welcome to the new year and welcome to Ava's Dream Chronicles. I don't know exactly what I will be discussing because I don't exactly have a story prepared, but hopefully we can get through to me showing you my new bike. It is a Bietron. There's the manual, here's the receiver, here's the, here's the mic. Transmitter, I guess, connects to my phone. And here's what it sounds like with it on. I really don't like it. It's like I'm talking into a can. But, it's a start. I'm not going to use it for anything else. I think the mic on my phone is better. So kind of a bummer, but at least I get to try something new. That's what the new year's all about, right guys? So, as for this journal, yeah, we're going to be moving on to business now. So as for this new journal, it is the second journal in the series. And I'll just show you a quick, I made it, so I want to show you all the cover. Ta-da! I didn't buy any journals at the time, but my sister does leather work, and so I used some of her leather things, or she let me use some of her leather things. I bound it myself. I like it very much. And this is not my best example of carving leather. In fact, I basically just scraped it. But I like how the drawing of the triquetra turned out, or Triskelion, or whatever it's called. I will now read to you the introduction. I didn't quite know where I was going to go with this journal because I was 16, 17ish. I didn't know whether the narrative should be darker, whether the narrative should be more serious or funny or just something to get out of the way, because as I was training my brain to remember my dreams, the dreams were getting more and more complicated, and I didn't know whether I wanted to be spending that much time on them. And I know they're really fun, but teenagers, you don't really know what sort of projects you're going to be investing your time in because you're so busy thinking of your future. So this is the introduction. It's probably the most fun I had with this journal because, I don't know, I was going through some things. Anyway. This journal belongs to Ava Daniel. Handmade, handcrafted by me. Please adore my handwriting. And then I wrote a code in here, but I don't want y'all to see my code. Not yet. Now adore this handwriting, and it's normal. So to start, I made this journal to write short stories based off my experiences, like a diary, but not quite. No, unless I read something from here out loud, you are not free to wander the pages. It is paramount that the story or stories in here remain a secret, unless I decide against it. It's funny, in poems I don't allow myself to write strictly about myself, but in stories I can't seem to do anything but. One of my main fears about writing and secret keeping is getting a big head. I absolutely detest narcissists, and you are free to kill me should I ever become one. See, I don't really know where to go with this introduction. I know I should write in pencil, but graphite rubs off, and I'd rather have everything be permanent, even if it means being messy. I detest writing in pencil. I still abide by this rule. So, the date is 3/15/18. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna tell you the date. Not now. I don't want to put my mind into figuring out what these numbers mean and applying them to the names of the month. You know what I mean. I think I might start beginning my story with one of my dreams. After all, this is meant to replace my dream journal. So, hold on. Okay, so basically, there is no first story. Well, kind of, except because you see, what I did was that I looked over the first story that's in here, but it turned out to be a fictional story I wrote based on my dreams. But it was excuse me, it wasn't. But it wasn't my actual dream. You know the character, the hero? Well, I never knew anything about him, so I made his own little background story. And so I'm I was thinking son of a nobleman, noble father's enemies, another nobleman, comes, wreaks havoc, takes the land, takes over the whole land. Everybody fights against him. Well, I ended up that night after I wrote it, because it's what, 3 pages? 3 page story? Well, that night after I wrote it, I had a dream that I was sleeping. No, I had a dream that I was, I don't know where I was, but the hero was there. And so I had my journal, and so I showed him the story. I was like, "Is this right?" And he said, "Kind of." He said, "Well, nobleman, yes, but I was actually the son of a prince." I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I was actually a prince, he said. But he said we came from a land where there was no magic until I found it. And so I tried to send my uncle somewhere else so he couldn't bother anyone anymore. But it backfired horribly, and so now we're all here. I don't know where here was. In my dreams, in the San Antonio realm that I dream about. But anyway, he was there. So this is an actual story. It's a dream. And also, I will show you a page, but it's mainly just my doodling, because I got gel pens. Which I will write about, which I will tell you all the dream to that one in one of my other journals, because it has its own story. And my table of contents is a mess. I am so ashamed of it. I don't know what I was doing. There are notes everywhere. If I get enough likes, maybe I'll show y'all the table of contents. But this one's called The Tunnel. Creepy, right? Tunnel. Tunnels scare me. One time I went to bed. Oh wait, this should probably be chapter 12, chapter 11. It should come up right now. Okay, done. One time I went to bed and dreamt that there is a studio, and so I'm there with my friend the hero. If you're curious on who he is, check my other journal. So of course he's a modern. He's like dressed modern. He's got different. His haircut's still messed up, but it's not shoulder length. Whatever. And we are on this game show along with a woman, her friend, and the host. The host has a mic. He's talking into a camera. "Welcome to my show, ladies and gentlemen," he says, turning to us. So me and my friend are on one end of the room, and the other contestants are paralleling us. Let me draw a picture, or rather a map of the room. It is a really rough sketch, but I'll show y'all anyway, just so y'all get an idea. Or y'all see a game show, but still. You will have to turn your screens to see this. Basically, this is a host's platform. This is where me and my friend were. Our score shows up there. Our opponent's score shows these are our opponents, and there's their score. And as you can tell, there is a trapdoor. Okay, now that you've seen the picture, that is the most I can remember. So the host explains the rules, which has to do with pressing buttons on the walls behind us in a certain order. With this fresh in our minds, the host says to let the games begin. So I look at the hero, and he's anxious and fidgeting for some reason. So I ask him what's wrong. He says, "I don't trust these people. I think we should just play the game and go." So I agree. Something was off in their behavior. The host was weird. He acted weird. Like, he walked weird, and I don't know. I don't know something about it. And the other contestants too, they were glaring at us with hatred. Like, "Geez, people, we don't even know you." So we play the game anyway. But something goes wrong after they count my score, which appears on the scoreboard. And so something physically breaks after the hero plays. His score fails to show up on the board. "Well," the host says, "that's never happened before." The host hands his mic to his staff member. They put the filming on pause, and he and the cameraman walk over to the button wall, which was really fun, by the way. So me and the other two contestants move out of their way while they start rearranging wires in the scoreboard, which I know that's probably not how that works. But the host takes the hero aside and asks if he cheated. No, I didn't cheat, the hero says. How could I even cheat on something like this? And cameraman goes back to the camera, and the host puts a gadget in the scoreboard, which opened from the back. So he closed it, and my scoreboard started counting the score. Now my score was 8,300. The woman's was 7,500. And the opponent's, was 6,200. The host mentioned that the record for scoring on his show was 9,800. But when my friend's score was counted, it was a staggering 10,934. That's the highest score we've ever had on this show, folks, the host announced to the camera as they started filming again. I have no idea what the prize was, but the host said to the hero, "Well done, my boy. Come here so the camera can get a close-up on you and your partner, me." So we walked somewhat cautiously to the podium, but before we reached it, the other contestants left the scoreboard, started glaring at us again, so me and the hero were just quiet. The host suddenly puts his mic down, and the cameraman stops filming and leaves. "Oh, great," I think sarcastically. The woman walks to the center of the room, kneels down. The host gets off of his host podium and says to follow him. So we kind of just follow him. We didn't have to walk very far, just a few steps, and into the center of the room. The woman was behind... Wait. The woman now opened a trapdoor under a carpet, and the host, who was behind us, pushes us in. The trapdoor is a rather large hole in the floor, about 4 by 4 square hole. So we both fell, and it was deep, and they closed the hatch shut. We fell something like 10 feet. I remember hearing my breath very loudly once we fell to the ground, until Hero lit a match that he had. "Phew," I said. "Good. I forgot my flashlight." And as the light from the match illuminated his face, he said, and that's what the bad feeling I had was. "Let's go," he said. So we both got up. The match burned brightly, and the yellow light displayed an earth tunnel. Now I was really scared, and due to this, I woke up. But the thing was, the images of the dreams was so imprinted on my mind that when I went back to bed, I picked up where I left off, in the tunnel. So anyway, he goes first, and the tunnel, if it was not for that match, would have been pitch black. But then we saw a light. "There's a light," I say as we walk farther. "I see, but it splits up from here," he says. There's light now, and the match burns his hand. "Ah," he yells and drops it. Yeesh. That hurt. I felt that because it's a dream. "Okay," he says. "You should take the right path because it has the most light coming from it." "Okay," I said. The tunnel was indeed split in two. "Be careful," I say to him as we split. "You too, we'll catch up. Later, promise." Now I could hear his footsteps as he walked into the dimly lit tunnel. And then I walked my path and saw 2 push doors. "I found 2 doors!" I yelled. I heard a loud slip from the other tunnel, and one of those screams that you hear in cartoons when someone falls into a pit. The loud noise was making rocks and clumps of dirt fall from the roof. I began to realize that I would not have time to save him because my tunnel was collapsing. I braced myself and shoved the doors open. Where it led was nightmarish, and I don't want to say. But all I can tell you is that, in self-defense, I killed 4 people with a lead pipe and rescued an equal amount of children. This all took place in an abandoned building in the middle of the woods. When I got out of there and sent the children back home wherever, they were not grateful at all. I don't know. It's a dream. There was a raised area with a lot of rocks. I was standing outside when I heard my name being called. "Ava," the hero called, climbing clumsily down the cliff-like area. "Hi, Fionn," I called back. "Hey, you're safe." He looked shocked. I never called him by any name before, except for now. I was shocked. I didn't realize I just called him by a name. The name Fionn is the name of an Irish hero with very like circumstances, at least his family, similar to the hero. I guess my subconscious picked up on that. "What happened to you?" I asked. He was covered in dirt and leaves and sticks in his hair. "Well," he said, "first I fell into a pit of snakes, then I was pulled out by a bearded man after freaking out for a good 2 minutes, who wouldn't let me leave. So I stole his motorcycle. I ran into a tree. I met a giant lizard and sprinted all the way over here. I need to sit down. He sat on a stump. So what happened to you? He asked. I don't want to talk about it. Sorry, I said. I gotta go. Bye. Bye. And then I woke up. So that was that was funny. It was as if someone punched him when I called him his name. Fionn is like, what is it? Finn McCool, but the name in my book was Fionn McCool, and so, well, I love Irish stories, so that was before that dream, him and his friends would like go on, not advance, they were like trips. But every time they would go on the trips, they would try and find something magic, and it really was because they were curious. They said they didn't come from a land with magic, and so they wanted to find out what it was. And so all his friends call him the hero. They don't call him by a name. And so I was the only one to call him by a name, and like he looked like he was punched. He was so taken aback. So that was funny. That was weird. So there was a little town where the dream characters would live that wasn't San Antonio, but the thing is that it had a big forest, and that was where this dream took place. It kind of reminds me of Brackenridge, but it's way more green. So this is not colored. This is not a full scale. It's just a little street. There is a shack there. I don't know. I really liked it. Kind of reminds me of The Garage. There was a strange incident where the hero and his two friends, their names are Vincent and Eric, were together, and they were not really upset, they were discussing something with him, but I couldn't understand them, because what's very odd about them is that they are from another land, right? So they have their own language, and I can't understand them. I can only see their expressions and the way that they interact with each other, but I can't understand them. It's like a mix of Hungarian, Ukrainian. It's so weird. And so that's going to play a role in here. And, well, that's pretty much all I have to say, guys. Thank you for joining my random video, and keep putting the fun in delusional in your lives. It really brings excitement, even in the most mundane, like dreams. Ciao. What? Ciao. Who says ciao? I guess the delusional. Keep it fun, guys.